Hey, it is your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're zooming in and focusing in a little bit more in depth on a very important, very important part of the recovery journal, and that's the section that I call lessons learned. We find that oftentimes through relationships with narcissists, covert narcissists, psychopathic individuals, there has been a huge delay of certain areas of progress or growth or happiness or fulfillment in your life. There's a huge deficit, there's a huge divot, there's a huge valley moment of experience where you have not been able to experience, follow up, or live life really kind of on your terms the way that you want. You've seen how other couples are, and that is what you want now. Or you see the way other individuals are, and that is what you want now. And you have, become through a whole series or evolution of aha moments that you have identified now when you are able to see clearly, not only to understand how the narcissist is, the psychopath is, and to identify really how they manipulate, why they manipulate, and then to separate yourself from that. And then furthermore, to begin to identify when other people fit that category. In other words, the people who do lack empathy, the people who have a craving for power or control. They have a propensity to hyper criticize, belittle, or judge, or make you to feel, or try to make you feel inferior. And lessons learned, it's a huge component of the recovery journal. Once you are coming through, you need to identify what has occurred and really become brutally honest with yourself and lay these out in this section. So if you're able to get a piece of paper and write out in your recovery journal, lessons learned across the top. And then I want you to get pen in hand and then write what are some of your lessons learned. In other words, lessons learned. I was broken down in my schedule by texting too much. I was broken down in my schedule by taking too many photographs. I was broken down in my schedule by staying out too late, giving in too much, doing this and this. Whatever your lessons learned were, I want you to write them down. Be brutally and rigorously honest. I had allowed this individual to, say these things or do these things. I tolerated criticism, judgment, and belittlement for way too long. And I was not able to stand up for myself in those situations. I learned that I did not have an assertiveness or a voice when was needed. I have learned, lessons learned. In other words, and when you write those down, you're able to see them clearly, objectively, and then not, I'm going to learn. In other words, I'm going to have this, I'm going to go through this problem again and again. No. It's enough is enough with attracting violators and perpetrators into your life, because your energy is like an antenna, and a violator and a perpetrator will be attracted to those people who are vulnerable, weak, naive, very giving, very loving, have an abundance of these qualities with which they want to possess. So in other words, if you have an abundance of these characteristics, they're going to target you not only to learn from, but to exploit, take advantage of, and to have you become supply to them. So it's not going to be able to give you what you need. So your lessons learned might be, I am going to stand up for what my needs are. My lesson learned is I know what my needs are. My lessons learned, I know what my happiness is now. My lessons learned are, I know that it's okay for me to be relaxed. I've lesson learned that I do not give in to pressure, that pressure is an illusion. So those are the certain characteristics which I really want you to write down and really take a moment. And even if it's 20 things, write down your lessons learned. And then furthermore, I want you to get out another section of your recovery journal and write, I forgive myself for. And I want you to forgive yourself for, being in that state. Because once you forgive yourself and you forgive the narcissist, you're not living your life by judgment and grudges. Because when you do that, you're still engaging the energy of the narcissist. And once you disengage totally and you forgive them totally for who they are, you're no longer impinged. You're no longer engaging in that energy. And that is the whole goal, is to disengage, detach from that energy. And oftentimes, not only is it the lessons learned, but it's forgiving them. That's who they are. I forgive you. And forgiving yourself, which seems really strange, but I forgive myself for not knowing better, and that is okay now. Because your growth and your progress is now what you're releasing, and you're really energizing, and you're getting there more quickly now once you're able to forgive that and see kind of the distinction between forgiveness and then living in that victim mentality. Because once you forgive, you're no longer living from that victim mentality. You're living from an empowered, strong personality. It is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. Hope that these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.